Okay, okay, good. So I thought I had it on and I didn't, but you think this picture right here on the end, this last one, you think that's Aunt, this one right here? I'm not sure, but I'm just kind of guessing from what I can see of her that it could possibly be Aunt Etta. Aunt Etta. Uh-huh. And Mom, didn't you say that's Frederick Granger Williams and Amanda?
On the horse. Well, yeah, I should have taken
The road. So of course this was years and years later when we went down there to visit, that I discovered that they had built the road across the river. They made a bridge across the river, and so they had to eliminate Uncle Oscar's house in order to make way for the road to go across the river. So
whose house? What?
Uncle Oscar.
And you were living close by there?
Well, when I lived there, until I was 10, it was, his house was only about a block from where her house was.
Yeah.
This house.
Oh, that house.
That house. Uncle Oscar's house looked quite similar to this.
There, Keith.
And it was about a block east.
Mini cheese Danish.
It was about a block east of their house.
Oh my goodness.
So,
Help yourself, Ron.
Looks delicious.
Have
It's your
some.
fork.
never made
There's
it before.
napkins.
Really? All right, you talked me into it.
Well, I started to tell you about. It just tells you how I forget. I start telling something and then I forget. Well, I started to tell you about. It just tells you how I forget. I start telling something and then I forget.
When they came out of Mexico, well, okay.
Go ahead.
Okay. When the family had to come out of Mexico because of the revolution down there, Uncle Oscar went to, what was the town where President Kimball lived? Spencer Kimball?
Safford or Thatcher?
Thatcher.
That's your.
He went to Thatcher. Uncle Oscar went to Thatcher to go to school there for a while. The rest of the family had gone on to Tucson, in the area of Tucson. And in the same school where Uncle Oscar went, Spencer W. Kimball was a student there as well. And they had a basketball team. And they played on a dirt field for their court for basketball. Uncle Oscar was the tallest one on the team, and Spencer W. Kimball was the shortest one on the team. And they played and got really good and won a lot of their games. So that was an interesting thing. I actually have a picture of their basketball team, and I didn't even think about bringing that, but sometime maybe I'll have to take a picture and mail it to you or
That
something.
would be wonderful. So, Velda, tell us a story about this picture.
This is a picture taken at my mother and father's home on 9th West in Provo, Utah.
Mm-hmm. And your mom was?
My mom is Glena Jesperson Williams. My father was Vernal Williams.
Which is Jim's youngest sister.
Yes.
Yes.
After
I could have told you that.
I know.
After grandfather Jesperson died, Grandma Jesperson still was living with my mother and father in their home there.
And one year,
And you know how they got there? I drove them there.
that's another story. This picture shows some of the brothers and grandchildren that came to visit Grandma Grandma Jesperson, while she was living with my parents. Should I name who is in here?
Yes. Let's go back and look at this picture.
Okay, we're starting on the back row. My mother, Brigitta, her sister, Ida Wenton, her brother, Jim Jesperson, his son, Jim Jesperson, and his wife, Doris. On the next row, almost hidden, is Vernal Williams. Next to him is Emma Ida Jesperson.
I think it's Lviv.
Lviv, Jeffrey. My younger sister, Colleen. John Whetton.
Thora.
And this is Thora Jesperson.
And whose house is that?
My mother and father, Vernal and Brigitta Williams,
Awesome. Thank you.
in Provo.
So Mom's going to tell the
Oh.
story of her driving. Who were you driving and where were you going?
Mom got to where she was very sick and she didn't have anyone to take care of her, and so she was going up to the servicemen's home. You remember that? You know,
That's in San Diego.
Thor and Dewey were.
But you were going to talk about driving them up to
Yeah.
Provo.
Grandma and
so-
Grandpa Jesperson.
Yes. So, Dad had had cataract surgery, and at that time, that was very serious surgery. And they put really heavy something on each side of his head, so he couldn't move. Well, when he finally got out of the hospital, then he couldn't drive, and so he needed someone to drive, because Aunt Brigitta said, I can take care of him, you just get them up here. And so Dad says, well, I'll get them up there. So Dad asked me if I wouldn't drive. So I said, sure, I'd be happy to drive. And
How old were you?
I'd just been married probably 6 months. And so we got in the car and I drove all the way to Provo.
By yourself?
No,
I mean-
with Grandpa and Grandma.
I know, but you didn't have someone helping you drive.
No. And because Dad couldn't because of his eyes.
So he didn't even come along.
My dad, oh yeah. Yeah, he came along.
Oh, okay.
He felt all that was sad, wicked or good, the angry had. While his friends were asleep, he thought to keep his promise made now.
Different parts of the brain can be more responsive. Like an automatic reaction to scratch your forehead or a conversation.
To Gethsemane.